Hey guys, this is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Lars.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. A quick programming note. We have been invited to discuss our WrestleMania predictions tomorrow on Fightful with Sean Ross Sapp. Should be a lot of fun. Of course,
can't wait.
Our official predictions video is going to be going up later on this week with our confidence points. But tomorrow we'll give everybody a pretty good indication as to where we're leaning on all these matches. It'll be interesting to see where we differ and where we have the same thoughts. I'm still a bit undecided on things, but I have until tomorrow at 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific to figure it out.
I haven't really thought so much enough about it to actually put anything down on paper yet.
I mean, a lot of it, I was kind of surprised that I was like, oh, yeah, I feel like this is going to go this way. This is going to go this way. I feel like it's going to be really a face-heavy WrestleMania for obvious reasons. Tonight's Raw didn't really
advance anything.
Wasn't necessary. I mean, here, I mentioned this in the pre-show. I feel like a couple weeks ago, when they figured out what matches they actually wanted, they just pulled the trigger on those stories, and then that was it. These stories have had basically no build with how they're being presented. Bob Lashley, on a dime, all of a sudden, didn't like the guys that sort of brought him to the dance Hurt Business. Like this bond that they had, this brotherhood they had, just sort of dissipated.
Poof.
Like just immediately, it was ridiculous, and so it's basically like a brand new Bob Lashley situation.
How many times did the Hurt Business actually challenge for the tag titles before winning them? It was a lot.
It was tons.
It was a lot. They lost a lot of matches before finally winning those tag titles, and they lose them, and then that's it.
Like, why don't you have Hurt Business walk into wrestle? Because I do think that Bobby's totally going to lose that thing.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't you have gone in? I mean, and I understand having the New Day. I mean, you could have done like a triple threat tag team to get, if you want to put those titles on AJ and Amos, why not have Hurt Business walk into WrestleMania as tag champs as a unit? Bob Lashley walks in as champion as a unit. I understand they just wanted to get a bunch of heel heat on Bob Lashley. All of a sudden he's a coward.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem.
It's a terrible idea, though, because it's more interesting.
I understand that they may have had reservations about continuing with Hurt Business as they were constituted for fear that Lashley was going to get cheered. But at the same time, if you actually set up the story, more than 3 or 4 weeks in advance, you could set up the story of, okay, Drew has odds to overcome, significant odds. He essentially has to wrestle 3 men. To regain that title at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And it, I and you, I'm sure, like a lot of people, were very happy that Bob Lashley finally got his hands to the WWE Championship. And with, the first week or two after that happened, I think we were both rooting for Bob Lashley to retain at WrestleMania. I thought it seemed like it's a decent possibility. However, as soon as Hurt Business disbanded, as soon as Bob Lashley enters into the 24/7 locker room, they're telegraphing right then and there that Lashley ain't holding on to that title. He'll have it for a month and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's a disservice to Bob Lashley because he's been doing good work.
Yeah, they're really banking on Drew being, they're the top face of the company. And so they want to make this as traditional, a good guy versus bad guy thing, leave no ambiguity to it. People aren't going to be cheering.
Yeah,
Bob
but like
Lashley.
I said, if you have Lashley win the title 3 months ago, rather than a month and a half ago, then you people can have that initial pop for him winning, be happy for him, and then you book Hurt Business as the most dominant faction possible. Have them kind of cool, but not too cool that they're gonna get cheered.
It's a difficult total line, but also it presupposes, dude, that like they knew what they were doing going into all this.
No, they didn't. That's the problem.
That's the biggest problem, is that you're not booking 3 months out, you're booking 3 weeks out.
And that and before we went on, we were talking about Rhea Ripley, and I think that's another instance of something like that happening where, she pops up on Raw 3 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
challenges Asuka for a title match at Mania, and just based on what has happened so far, what happened tonight, it doesn't feel like a huge deal, not to me.
Even they could have made that feel like a big deal, because I mean, in that situation, I feel like, and I don't know, I mean, just from piecing together the various behind the scenes rumors and stuff, it feels, and just what we know happened. Lacey Evans got pregnant. Charlotte, well, we don't really know what happened with Charlotte exactly. I know she had
Andrade
COVID.
said they told her that she was pregnant and then pulled her from her storyline.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there was that stuff. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So if that was the case in terms of her being pulled from Mania, which seems to be the case, they were like, okay, well, yeah, to your point in the pre-show, they have a lot of depth in the women's division. They could have gone any number of ways. They went with Rhea Ripley because, hey, this is a big deal for a big spot. The problem is going to be 2 years in a row that she's probably going to lose at WrestleMania.
And you're doing Rhea a disservice.
Yeah. I mean, you really have to. She has to really recover from that.
Especially the idea that you have Rhea in this match and she loses. Just hold off and bring and have her true Raw call-up debut, the Raw after Mania.
Yeah.
And then build and build and build and build and build and build. And when she has that first title match, it feels inevitable, because that's what you want,
But here's
you want
the thing.
someone walking into their first title bout that they're behind, and it feels like, all right, this is happening.
I don't disagree with that. I just think that, that they brought her out there, first big match at WrestleMania. Up until tonight, I was like, man, I think she's probably going to win this thing. But then she just blatantly pushes Asuka off the top of the thing. The problem is there are very simple ways that you can more effectively tell these stories and present a bit more drama going into WrestleMania.
Yes.
And they just don't. It's like it's again with the case of Raw. Specifically with the case of Raw, it's just a lot of lazy creative. It's just lazy ways of getting.
We saw that again. Speaking of Rhea, we saw that tonight, where, hey, let's put Rhea and Asuka, opponents at Mania, in a tag match against the tag champions. We just saw that on SmackDown. Just saw it.
Yeah.
It is lazy creative.
Yeah.
Totally. And that's what happens when you have 3 weeks to build up to your show, like your number one show of the year. This is supposed to be the show.
Yeah.
For WWE, and it's hard to. There's stakes, yes, but to get the level of importance that feels necessary for WrestleMania, like half these matches feel like they could be at any other pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the spectacle is going to be the thing. I'm very much looking forward to WrestleMania, because the spectacle is going to be the thing.
And I think all the talent is going to deliver, and that's the most important.
They are.
I think everybody on the card
yeah.
is going to deliver.
Yeah, and it's funny because we were just talking about this in the pre-show as well, thinking of other WrestleManias, because Tempest from Wrestle Talk had mentioned, I think it was him, on Twitter, that the Build 31 was pretty terrible, but it's considered a pretty damn good pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was
a pretty
a fun
good
show.
WrestleMania. We were there. It was awesome. And, but it ended, the build ended with cheesy Roman and Brock Lesnar doing the tug of war thing. And it's like, yeah, you want more drama going into it, but at the end of the day, the WrestleMania is the thing. And I imagine, I honestly think that WrestleMania is going to be a ton of fun this year. It would be nice to be given a bit more to chew on the road.
And I understand not every year can be like WrestleMania 30, where you have Daniel Bryan. Speaking of inevitable,
yeah,
not every year can be like that, because those opportunities creatively don't present themselves on an annual basis. I mean, you could try to manufacture moments like that the best you can. WWE doesn't really tend to do that very often, but one could try.
Yeah.
But just some storytelling that takes, or that you dedicate more than 3 weeks to build up to, where you have a series of blow-off matches where we as the audience are invested in these stories, are invested in the blow-off matches, invested to see who comes out of these stories on top.
Yeah.
And there's just not a whole lot of that this year.
Yeah. Kind of a forgettable go home. There wasn't anything painfully bad about it.
No.
It was just nothing. Everybody did their darndest to sort of, roll with the stories they had. We'll just kick this thing off. Drew McIntyre comes down, sort of reflects on the past year since the last WrestleMania. A lot's gone down. But once again, I'm fighting for the WWE title. He says, a lot's going through my head. Baron Corbin's not really one of them, though. Lashley is. He's tried what he can, but this match is happening. We've had similar paths on the way up, but what separates us? I'm willing to sacrifice more. Sacrifice. The difference is you can go back home, make up for lost time. I left my home. I don't get that luxury. He goes on a little bit more. Lashley and MVP come down. Lashley claims that he saw fear when he put him in the Hurt Lock. He felt him shake and pass out. And Drew says, well, those are tough words, but that wasn't fear. That was me going out. The Hurt Lock is no joke. He says, but the bottom line is you need help to win. Lashley says, I don't need help. And Drew says, yeah, we're all jacked up here. Let's throw down now. And he keeps on trying to goad Lashley into getting in it. MVP says, no. This Saturday, you're going to lose your dignity, your consciousness. You're going to lose the match. Drew says, well, maybe I should just give up. I'll become an Uber driver or an Amazon driver. He says, but why don't you come up here and I'll kick your ass? MVP says, Drew. He says, after tonight, you'll be lucky if you make it to WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. Out comes King Corbin, and he says, hey, face the facts. There's no WrestleMania for you. Come on, Lashley, give me a shot. He says, tonight I whip your punk ass. Give me a shot.
Give me a shot. Let me ask you something. I'm going to fast forward to like the end of the show, basically. When Lashley's walking backstage, Sarah walks up to him and is like, hey, who do you want to face at Mania? And what does he say?
He says, Drew. Yeah, he has it. He can do it.
And it's like that one sentence that he's given to say just kind of craps on the story they've been building this last 2 weeks.
Did you notice that there's like, I know they want to, it's weird with Lashley. They have no idea what they do. So you get things like him wanting to put a massive obstacle in Drew's way to get him out of WrestleMania, but then claiming that he does. Yeah. And the funny thing is about that line is that one of the great things about Bobby's win and in the couple weeks after it, before they totally turned him into a different person, was the sincerity of him. He was able to be, hey, I'm a bad dude, but man, this has been a long road. I'm really happy to be here, Yeah.
And that first promo he did after he won the title was amazing.
And everything since they turned him into a different person has felt so forced and almost cringy to listen to. Like MVP can deliver phone book dialogue. Like he can do whatever. Lashley can't. Lashley is one of those guys who's just really good when he's genuine. And I saw that. That was the one difference when I was watching him in Impact during that one small stretch of time when I was watching Impact and Lashley was there. It's because he was basically just being himself. And I was like, where is this guy in the WWE? Because with the exception of those few weeks after he won the championship, he's never really been himself.
Nope. He's never been given the opportunity to be himself.
And it's striking that now that he's doing something that he obviously is just being forced into, him on the mic just doesn't work. It's like, you're back to being like boring guy who's forcing it again. After that,
it's a bummer.
After that, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, we got the New Day. They're chatting backstage. Riddle rolls up on a scooter. He's talking about what Amos did last week, said it was messed up. He says, hey, Kofi, I've never seen anyone get as high as you got last week. I wonder if on Saturday he can get both of you that high. And Kofi says, hold on. No one is getting that high. On Saturday, we're going to get down and win those tag titles. Woods asked him about his match against Ali tonight, as well as his match against Sheamus at Mania. If I caught this right, Riddle called Sheamus stinky.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
And then I think he said Ali was sticky.
Oh yeah, he kept on making like
it's weed references. I get it. It's all weed references. And it's something like he'll have to grind him down and something like that. And then he leaves. And then New Day was like, is he? It's just obvious weed references. Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I'm not into it. You know what's funny though? Like, with the exception of Riddle and like talking way too much, I actually am kind of a fan of the scooter thing. I think the scooter thing kind of works. It works for him. And the only reason I appreciate it is because he's so damn good in the ring, and they have kept that, Yeah. Like the intensity is there and everything else. It's like, okay, he keeps the joking outside of the ring, but in the ring, he's a beast.
Yeah. I like the Scooter stuff. I like the Scooter stuff. Gives
makes
them,
me laugh, yeah.
Sometimes people just need a little bit of business, you know?
Yeah, it was.
It
Yeah,
works. I think
yeah.
the Scooter stuff works, but they go way too far with the Stoner stuff.
Yeah, that stuff I could do with it.
And,
Like
like-
if it was references, dude, I'd be fine with it. But just the whole like droning on and on and on, I can't stand that.
I know. And like, tonight it didn't make sense. So I'm here, you know, he's talking about Sheamus being stinky and Aldi sticky or something like that. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
After that, Xavier Woods had a match against AJ Styles, a rematch from last week. Pretty early on, AJ locks on the calf crusher, and Kofi grabs the mic, says, "Hey, Amos, we saw you had a list last week. Let's see what you got this week." And then he chucks the mic at his stomach.
Yeah,
It hits him right in the abs.
yeah. And it just sort
So
of
he runs in the
explodes.
ring. Amos follows. So AJ breaks the hold. Kofi leaves. AJ's talking crap to him. And then Xavier Woods rolls up AJ to get that W.
Mm-hmm.
Go home, Matt. We got new tag champs on this weekend, don't we?
Dude, they have not. They have telegraphed this title change like every step of the way. Every step of the way, with the exception of Amos throwing them around here and there. Every step of the way, the New Day has had the upper hand, and they have foiled AJ and Amos.
They said this is AJ's third straight loss, singles loss. I think prior to
they're
this, he
totally-
had one
Yeah.
singles loss. I think it was
Yeah.
to TLC.
Yeah,
He challenged Drew for the title.
they are totally getting those titles. AJ
Very,
and Amos
very
are.
reminiscent of the Build to Survivor series when AJ was completely hapless
Yeah.
and led Team Raw to victory.
Yep.
Clean
Exactly
sweep.
right. Exactly right. After that, we had Braun Strowman in a steel cage, dropping a promo. I refuse to believe this man's ever been bullied, Larson. I mean, unless he had like one of those weird, tremendous growth spurts between
Yeah,
like
maybe he was a
13
late
and
bloomer.
14.
He could have been a late bloomer.
I wonder. I don't know. Anyways, he comes out. He says, "I've been bullied since I was a kid because I'm stupid." Shane comes out here making fun with a fake report card. Here's the thing you don't get, Shane. You don't know what you got yourself into. Running ends. The running ends when the door's locked. No hiding, no running, no games. At WrestleMania, at the end of our match, when your corpse lies here, hands.
He got pretty grim towards the end there.
Yeah, you talk about his corpse laying there. Shane comes out dancing. He says, "A steel cage match, huh, Braun? You know what? That's not that stupid." He says, "Many match would say this match favors you, but I'm no man. I'm a McMahon, and I will outwit you inside that cage. And the next morning, when you look in the mirror, you will say, 'Boy, I am stupid.'"
So at this juncture, there was a commercial break, and I went to get pull my monitor out of a box. And by the time I came back, this was all over. What happened?
It was Braun. Let me. Well, I'll ask you a question. Braun versus Elias and Riker in a. I don't know what they call it. If it's a handicap match where they don't have to tag, but that's what it was.
Yeah, tornado. It's like a tornado tag.
It was a tornado. Do they call it a tornado when it's at? Okay.
Something like that. Yeah.
So, what do you think happened here? What do you think the finish of the match was?
Shane was out there. I didn't see Riker or Elias anywhere. And they brought the cage up.
Yeah, so they had a match: Elias and Riker versus Braun. What do you think the finish
Yeah.
of the match was?
I'm guessing power slams for everybody.
Correct. And who do you think ate the pin? And it's a trick question because it's not just one person.
Yeah, I was gonna say both of them.
Yeah, both of them ate the pin. That's correct. Yeah, it was a pretty quick match. Elias and Riker really didn't get much off. Braun power slammed them both, dragged Riker over to Elias, and put both hands on him, pinned them both at the same time.
Yeah.
After that, we have Miz and Morrison carrying some paint cans backstage. Quick interview with them. They say they talk about the various painters in history. They say, of course, Miz and Morrison. They say they have a masterpiece to paint. They get to Bad Bunny's sweet-looking Bugatti.
Mm-hmm.
This thing looks amazing. And they-
$3.6 million. They said.
$3.6 million, and they paint hey, hey, ho, ho. I've never seen two people be so careful with graffiti, with marking up somebody's car, because clearly this stuff is washable paint.
Yes.
And they're very careful just to get it on the safest area where it could just be sprayed down and you're all good to go.
Mm-hmm.
So they paint the car. It's clearly just, wash offable paint.
Yeah.
Bad Bunny comes around the corner, pissed off, obviously. Miz and Morrison attack. Pierce comes to make the save. Finally, Damian Priest shows up, and Miz and Morrison get run off.
Yep. After that, Asuka and Rhea Ripley teaming up to take on Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax prior to Raw earlier in the day. Rhea is backstage doing pull-ups. Sarah rolls up to her for an interview. She asks, how are you going to coexist with Asuka? And she's all, I know what I'm doing, but does Asuka know what she's doing? We have to coexist, because if not, they'll get ripped apart. If Asuka wants payback, she's going to have to wait till WrestleMania. This is totally, completely predictable. Rhea really wants no part of the match, unless it's on her terms.
Right.
Early on, Asuka tries to tag in. Rhea's, nah, don't want to. Eventually, she does. There's a point where she's squaring off with Nia, escapes the body slam, comes over and tags Asuka back in. Asuka's in there for a while. Rhea eventually gets, Asuka hits Nia with a code breaker, tags in Rhea. Shayna's into, Reginald gets on the apron. That distracts Rhea, so Shayna chop blocks her. She tumbles to the floor. Eventually, though, Asuka gets back in. She goes on a run. She goes up on the top rope for a drop kick, and then Rhea just pushes her off to the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And then goes over there, drops her face first again, puts her back in the ring. Shayna hits Asuka with a running knee to get the win.
Yep. Pretty transparent what's going on there. Afterwards, I mean, it's heartening to me that Asuka's going to pick up a win at WrestleMania. At least that's what I believe is going to happen. So that's pretty rad for Asuka, assuming that actually takes place. Cedric backstage, him and Shelton encounter MVP. MVP says, I hope you're not here to beg to get back in the Hurt Business. And Cedric grabs him, rams against the wall, says, you're a leech, you're a parasite, a washed up has-been. Cedric says he can't wait for Drew to kick Lashley's teeth in and expose him for what he is. They leave. Shelton says something like, I forget what he says. He gives him a little bit of business too. He leaves. We got a quick interview. All of a sudden, I think Sarah rolls up. Is like, hey, MVP, by the way. She says, are you concerned about what those guys just had to say? He says, never. He says, what I am is disappointed in the arrogant, ungrateful attitude of Cedric and Shelton. It's because of me they became tag champs. Lashley comes up. He's like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, don't worry about it. Just take care of it in the ring. Lashley says he's going to break Cedric in half. Uh-oh, that's weird. You're muted.
Yeah.
No, you're not muted.
No, I'm not. This next bit I missed as well because I didn't have my audio set up on my new monitor. I saw it was Nia and Shayna and then all the contenders for the women's tag titles. Looked like a lot of arguing. Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was just so backstage, Nia and Shayna, they get an interview. Sarah was busy tonight. Said, are you confident you'll be able to defend on night 2, given that you don't know who your opponent's going to be night 1? And Nia's like, of course we are. It was funny because it's kind of a long-winded way of saying that. And Nia says, do you need a glass of water for saying like the longest question ever? I don't know. Nia was pretty funny here. Mm-hmm. I like Nia a lot. She's great. Her and Shayna, you know what, man? Her and Shayna don't get enough credit for all the work they put in like the second half of the year.
I know.
Like COVID time. They've sort of become like the Asuka of the second half.
They've kind of been the same kind of role that Sasha and Bayley had when they were women's tag champs.
Yeah, just everywhere.
And it's the only titles that can go into any brand.
This is a shame that Shayna keeps on getting rolled up by people, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, I know.
So anyways,
she might get rolled up at Mania.
So yeah, I mean, dude, nothing happened here. She says, of course we are, we're ready to go. And then Lana and Naomi show up, and then Mandy and Dana show up, and then Natalya and Tamina show up, and then the Riot Squad all butt in. And then Billie Kay shows up, and she's like, it's going to be me. And they're like, do you even have a partner? And she was like, well, Carmella's reviewing my resume and headshot. And then she gets sort of shoved out of the way. And then Nia explains they're going to have a match night 1 to determine the number 1 contender. All right, before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, ExpressVPN. So we all know the WWE Network has moved to Peacock, but the entire library of their content won't be available to us marks in the United States until like SummerSlam, and who knows if the entire thing will even be available then. What am I supposed to do? Buy old DVDs off eBay?
Well, you certainly could do that, Steve, but hear me out for a second here.
Okay.
What if I told you there was a way to not only protect your online activity from the prying eyes of big tech who are constantly tracking and profiting off you, but also to watch all those early episodes of Raw or like ECW Hardcore TV that are now only available on the international version of the WWE Network? Would you be interested in that?
What? Yes, of course I would. Give me what I want, Larson. How do I do that? Give me what I want.
You got to check out ExpressVPN.
Yeah, you know what? Joke's on you, sucker. I already did that.
All right. Well, too sweet, me brother.
Okay.
No, see, ExpressVPN encrypts your data and reroutes it through a server location of your choice. There's over 90 countries to choose from. So every time you run out of stuff to watch, just fire up the ExpressVPN app on your laptop or smart TV, switch your country, and hit connect. Refresh the page, and a brand new selection of shows will be at your fingertips.
Yeah, there's a reason why ExpressVPN is the number one rated VPN provider by publishers like Wired, CNET, most importantly, Going In Raw. So be smart, guys. Protect your data and stop paying full price for streaming services while only getting access to a fraction of their content. Visit expressvpn.com/GIR right now and get 3 extra months of their service for free.
That's expressvpn.com/GIR. expressvpn.com/GIR to learn more. After that, Bob Lashley took on Cedric Alexander. Shelton and Cedric attacked Bob Lashley before the bell. MVP was on commentary. And he's asked, hey, you can do anything to help? And Lashley says, no, he can handle himself. And he would say, hey, Joe, remember this time we were in this one place and you were getting jumped by people and I helped and you got mad at me for doing so.
Yeah.
And the Joe says, I'm like, yeah, but they were civilians. These are, trained professional wrestlers. It's different. Anyway, so Lashley does end up fighting them off. Bell rings, match begins. Lashley basically immediately has the upper hand. He hits the ring post spot where he has him the fireman's carry, rams Cedric into the ring post. He tries for the spot again later on. However, Shelton helps Cedric escape. Cedric then rams Lashley into the ring steps, hits 2 suicide dives, and neuralizer, an enziguri, missile drop kick. That only gets him a 1. He's looking for, I think a springboard flatliner. Lashley catches him, hits a spine buster, then a dominator. Shelton's ringside. He's telling Lashley to stop. He said, all right, that's enough. No more. Instead, Lashley hits another spine buster, puts Cedric in the hurt lock. Cedric passes out. Lashley doesn't let go of the hold. Shelton comes in. That's when Lashley lets go of the hurt lock, hits Shelton with a flatliner, puts the hurt lock on him.
Right. Lionheart here in chat says the outlines of the women's tag match for night 2 looks like Carmella and Billy. Pretty sure there was just female renders that they have. They're like the vacant guy, but for women. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't read too much into that one because they probably haven't even decided who's going to. I think I'm going with Lana and Naomi on that tag match, though.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too.
Did they ever have their tag? They had their tag match, though, didn't they?
Yeah, they had.
Has anybody there not had an actual tag match? I mean, Billy and Carmella, if they end up being partners.
Yeah. I don't think Tamina and Natalya have had a tag title match yet.
Really? Out of all the matches they had, they never had a tag match?
No, I don't think they've
ever taken a title match?
No.
Wow. If that's true, that's pretty shocking. After that,
the story is Lana and Naomi winning. That's the story, though,
Yeah. After that, we had Randy, and I want to see that. I want them to mix up those women's tag titles a little bit. It's getting a little, as much as I like Nia and Shayna, I want to see them chase as well, and I don't want to see them break up quite yet. I think they're great together.
Yeah, they are great together. But if they lose, they're going to break up.
Maybe. After that, we had an extended recap. Was there anything new added to the Orton Fiend stuff? Was there any interviews or promos? Because I saw this and it was going on and on and on, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get my chili.
Mm-hmm. Did you make cornbread too?
Yeah, it was good, man. It was good. I forget. I didn't go with the regular stuff that I usually get. I went with a different. I forgot what it was. It was just in there. Okay. I don't even know who got it. I think Lacey got it.
Gotcha.
It was really good, though. Anyways, after that, Damian Priest, and Bad Bunny come out. Priest offers up a tag match because they've gone too far now. Offers up a tag match. Let's raise the stakes. Priest and Bad Bunny versus Miz and Morrison at WrestleMania. Hands the mic over to Bad Bunny. I thought he did a really good job with the promo. I thought it was a little bit long, but again, it was genuine. I thought it was pretty good. He says, I came here following my dreams, believing in my dreams. I love this business. I love and respect every superstar back there. I remember watching WWE with my dad, with my brothers, my family. Got a lot of good memories of WWE. But now I don't know. I can't. That's the problem. It's just how I say it now.
Within your power, man.
Now I don't know how to feel or how to think about with this experience. I came here to perform. I was very grateful for the opportunity to perform at Rumble, literally a song named after Booker T. I love Booker T the way I love Stone Cold, Taker, Flair, all the legends of my country. I used to love and respect Miz even, but he doesn't respect me, and that's been since day one with no reason. I know I did what I did, and I'm not a pro wrestler when I came off the top rope at the Rumble, but I'm a man, and he disrespected me, my career, my music, my fans with no reason. He says, there's no reason to attack me with a guitar, to paint my Bugatti. Who do you think you are? You are a legend, and I respect you, but you don't respect me. You crossed the line. I don't know why, and I don't care. This Sunday, I'm going to show you how to respect me. I'm going to shut your mouth and rip your ass.
Miz and Morrison show up on the Tron then. Miz says, I want to be very clear. Bad Bunny, you don't belong there in WWE. WWE is their world, and you have overstayed your welcome. It says they're going to embarrass you, hurt you, send you home. And then Morrison says, we accept the tag match, and they get in the limo and ride off.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, he says, whip your ass. I thought he said rip your I like rip better. It sounds like it hurts a lot more, like with X-Pac.
Goodness.
After that, Sheamus sees Ali backstage. He stops him on the way to the ring. Ali says, I got a lot of problems with that Matt Riddle. He says, Retribution's dead because of him. I'm not U.S. champion because of him. He says, I know you have him on Mania on Sunday, but tonight he's mine. Sheamus is like, we don't have a whole lot in common, but we both hate that guy, so I'm going to be out there. So we get Riddle versus Ali. Oh, and then Riddle comes speeding through on his scooter,
Great.
making funny scooter noises.
Yes, then we get Riddle versus Mustafa Ali. Sheamus is on commentary. Riddle has the upper hand. He goes to the commentary desk, puts on Sheamus's hat, starts kind of dancing around a little bit. Ali comes from behind, hits him with the leg sweep on the floor, go to commercial, come back. Ali stumps on Riddle's foot to turn the tables, kicks him in the gut, starts working over his midsection a bit. Riddle eventually escapes that. He goes on a run, hits a Broton, and as he's going for the cover, Ali locks in a Koji clutch. Riddle powers him up for a Fisherman Buster. That gets him a 2. Then Ali hits a Gut Buster. That gets him a 2 count. Goes for a Tornado DDT. Riddle catches him right into a Bro Derek to get the win.
I love the Bro Derek, too. Riddle brings that intensity, dude. He got him locked in, and then he pointed at Sheamus.
Yeah.
And then he did it. I love that. I thought that was rad.
I thought it was great when Ali kicked him in the gut the first time.
Mm-hmm.
He was basically doing throw-up noises.
Dude, Riddle is a hell of
He delivers in the ring, man.
He really does. He really does. And good for
really
him. He's
does.
going to win on at WrestleMania, too, because
he
Sheamus
is.
already
He
picked
is.
up his win on him.
We
After
get
that,
a Drew promo.
he just... I know. I understand what you said. I know. I don't like this role for him. Anytime it's an interview, he just recaps stuff, and then he just explains what's happening. And none of it
Yeah.
really adds anything.
Well, he did say that Corbin had a huge melon head, so that was fun.
He does, man. He does. So do I, though. If I shave my
I do
head
too.
bald, I'd have a huge melon.
I have
Yeah,
a
I know, but
massive
yours
head.
isn't as weirdly shaped as mine. That's why.
Well, mine, see, if you look at it straight on, it doesn't look, it's not wide. It's just long this way.
It's like Alien, like
Yes, I have
like
Alien
the
head.
Geiger
Yes.
Alien.
Yes, because I wear a very large hat,
Yeah,
like a 7 3/8 or something like that, or 5/8. I can't remember what it is. It's a larger hat.
you got that big brain ears. After that, we had Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin. They gave this a lot. This is actually a really, really good match. I was like, man, wow. Towards the finish, I was like, wow, they might actually change the Mania main event here to Baron Corbin versus Bob Lashley.
Man, Shane McMahon's about to have a word with you if you keep thinking that along those lines.
Steve.
Anyways, fun match. So Lashley, I mentioned this earlier on. He's watching backstage. Sarah walks up to him from an interview. Who do you want to face at Mania? I'd love to beat up Drew, he says. Why are we going through this whole thing? We have a bounty on him.
Why
then
are we doing
just
this
face
then?
him at Mania.
Yeah.
You could call off Corbin right then and there. Anyways, Drew's in control early, looking for a future shock. Corbin rolls out of the ring. Drew follows. Corbin kind of trips him up off the apron. Drew then just no-sells, drives Baron to the ring post, then to the steps. Go to commercial, come back. At that point, Baron's in control. He hits a flurry of 12-6 elbows on Drew, hits a choke slam, gets a 2, Shortly thereafter, Drew responds with a spine buster that gets him a 2. Baron goes for an end of days. Drew counters with a headbutt, future shock that gets him a 2 count. Drew goes up the top. Baron hits him, hits a spine buster, gets a 2 count off that. Shortly thereafter, hits a deep 6, gets another 2 count. And MVP leaves the booth, tells Corbin, "Hey, remember, it's not about winning the match. It's not about beating Drew. It's about taking him out."
Take him out.
And so he hands Baron his cane. Baron gets it, takes a swing at Drew. Drew ducks, hits Claymore to get the win. And then they have a stare down between Drew, and Lashley. Drew's in the ring. Lashley's on the stage.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the road to WrestleMania. I mean, there might be another development that'll inform us a little bit on Friday on SmackDown, but I
think there will, just for the main event. I think that's kind of it. I feel like that's it.
Roman, Edge, and Bryan are all gonna talk.
Probably.
I think they're just all gonna. Wasn't that like kind of announced? They're just gonna talk.
Yeah. Well, they said they're all gonna be there or something like that. But sometimes people go there to talk and then they fight. So.
Yeah.
There's not a Sasha and Bianca segment announced for SmackDown yet, is there?
No.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
No, I don't think so. They might do like an extended recap package. That wouldn't shock me. Anyways, let's answer some questions. Why don't we?
Sure. Broken wheelchair. Vince wants heel heat on Lashley. Why not just have Hurt Business screw Drew out of the title instead of ruining your best thing going on Raw?
There's a million ways. There's a million ways you could have kept them together.
They didn't afford themselves the luxury of time.
Cameron Bartolozzo, power rank more objects that a Moss should no-sell after being thrown at him. Dirty Rich here has some good answers. An announcer's chair, a table, an anvil, and AJ himself. I think those are all great answers.
Yeah, those are great answers. I think anything smaller than like a moving vehicle.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But then, you talk about a car, that stresses believability,
I'm okay with the Moss though. With the Moss, I want him to do crazy stuff. It's like
Agreed.
Braun back in the day when he would just
totally.
down huge things. I'm cool
But
with
if
that.
someone comes, a car comes barreling down the road towards him.
I want to see the car bend around him and then somebody comes flying out of it.
Great as that would be, it's just not that believable.
No, I mean,
Simply find that
you
not
can do it in a
believable,
cinematic match and it'll be very believable.
Organ grinder. Remember when you were in school and were assigned a big project a few months in advance, and you end up putting it off with only a week left and turned in half-assed? That's how the road to WrestleMania has felt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to do it all the time and stay up all night the night before it was due.
More often than not, yeah.
Yep.
I did that. One time I did a report in middle school and junior high on I do like a oral presentation on Paraguay. And I did it, and it was the most half-assed thing ever. And then afterwards, my teacher was like, yeah, that was all right. And I was like, yeah, my mom's from there. He was like, your mom's from Paraguay, and that's what you gave us? I was like, oops, I should have kept my mouth shut.
Wow.
I don't even think I asked her for any info. Let's see here. Greg Morris. Time for who should... Wait, what the hell?
Huh?
Am I on the wrong thread? This is the Raw QA. We already answered this today. Greg, we answered on News Beef. David Matushik. Since Damian Priest has been added to Bad Bunny versus Miz with John Morrison, how do you think Bad Bunny would fare in a tag match compared to a singles match? I think it's a great move to start him out in a tag match.
Yeah.
Because, you can...
Yeah, that's a lot to ask for someone who has no training, no real experience to go out there and be in a singles match for 10 minutes even. That's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
Dang MQ, Asuka is 3-0 at Mania, and Sasha is 0-3 at Mania. Sasha is 0-5 at Mania. Who needs the win more?
Well, mathematically,
Sasha.
Mathematically Sasha, but I feel like Asuka. I feel like they just sort of treat Sasha like a big deal, and her Mania record doesn't really reflect that. But I think they do treat her like a big deal.
Twine Winder, WB builds like they have a toddler in the house. They know they can only build so high before that maniac comes and knocks it over.
Maniac is a perfect way to describe a toddler. Let's see here. JTV. I turned off Raw because of Rhea Asuka tag team. What moment in recent history made you want to turn off Raw because of the stupidity of the booking?
I mean, most weeks.
I mean, can you name a moment on Raw over the past couple months that has made me want to keep it on. Yeah. That's kind of a more apropos call. I'll be honest with you, man. They just don't bring it on Raw like they should.
Nope.
They just don't.
Nope. They had a good 2 weeks
I
Lashley winning the title.
I thought they were turning it around, and they didn't turn it around.
Nope. Haha Jackson, can we please get an RVD Matt Riddle session during Mania? They should be a backstage segment. That'd be cool.
Oh, 100%. Luis Oreza, quick. A match has been cut short due to the dreaded X, and you've been tasked with sending 2 wrestlers to put on the best 10-minute match. Who are you sending out there?
Ever or just right now?
This Mania.
Oh, this Mania.
This Mania.
So they can't be on the card already.
Right. I would go with... Well, they can be in the Andre.
All right. That's fair.
I would go with... So Rich here stole one of my answers. He says Ricochet and Cedric. I would actually go with Ricochet and Ali.
That's what I was going to say, too. They can put on a 5-star 10-minute match.
Mm-hmm.
Organ Grinder gifted a sub to Jubilee.
Or I would just send Hogan out there and have him talk.
Flats, if Vince had the technology, would he have CGI dog who solves mysteries that follows around Riddle?
If he hears that idea, he's probably going to invest in it.
He might, yes.
Mondo Vulgare, do you think WrestleMania being the first show back with the crowd will mean it'll be heavy on faces going over to make it a feel-good show? Yes. Absolutely. I don't even need to know, I think that's how it's going to happen. And in fact, that's a lot of my my predictions are going that way.
White Brownie, takeover predictions when? Probably tomorrow. We can do those tomorrow.
We could do, let's just do those on our Wednesday preview.
You mean a Wednesday news brief?
Wednesday news brief. We always do a preview in the news brief.
Well, how about this? Let's keep it on the table tomorrow just in case this is a slow news day.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Dirty Rich, are they not doing AK entrances anymore? I have not seen them lately.
Yeah,
I think I saw one like 2 weeks ago when Rhea debuted. She got an 8K.
Yeah.
But I can't recall.
I didn't notice it at all tonight.
I did not notice it tonight, no.
Die Hard Homer. So what is the punishment for Mania? We haven't even talked about it.
Dude, we haven't even talked. I mean, I mentioned that one thing, do a reading of that book.
Oh, yeah.
Which I still think is a great idea because that book
looks
is rad. I don't mind sitting here reading. That sounds cool.
Which book was it?
Oh, man.
It's one of the ones I gave you, right?
Yeah, it's like I think it was one of the. It's. Well, I don't know. Hold on a second. No, I think I got that myself. I think I got that myself because I got it on Kindle first. It was. Let's see here. Book. Where is it? Is this it? I don't think this is it. I don't know. I'll have to go get it. I don't know where. I think it's out in my bookshelf out there.
Gotcha. Fear and Loathing. After falling asleep on March 10th at 1 a.m., Vince wakes up at 1:04 a.m. and decides he hates the whole WrestleMania card. He sends the W private jet to bring you both to Tampa and says, God damn it, pals. I need a new host and a new card.
Mm-hmm.
First night is hours away. Give me some brand new matches while they order us Del Taco breakfast. What does your brand new WrestleMania card look like?
Oh, man. I'll be honest, man. I think they've done the matchups themselves, I think, are fine.
Yeah, it's just the creative behind the matches.
Yeah. I mean, dude, Sheamus versus Riddle for the U.S. title, that's a match I'm into, you know?
Yeah.
Apollo with his new character against Big E for the Intercontinental Championship, I'm into that.
Yeah. I would change the host, though. Bailey would be the host.
Bailey would totally be the host, but I suspect... I just suspect that something's going on with Bailey that we're not privy to. Something
entirely
personal,
possible.
maybe.
Jorge D, with WrestleMania approaching, to give it your best, you've got to reach your prime and show us the passage of time. Which feud could have used an 80s training montage and which song?
Well, I like when they did Drew's
Gameskeeper
Gameskeeper stuff. I would say you could do something silly with Riddle, maybe.
Yeah. Get a damn Yankees high enough.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, I like that. Or insane in the brain.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Night by night. We're back to the hole, Steve. The figure steps out of the shadows. You did know the voice all along. Standing before you, puffy orange suit and all, is Space Enforcer.
Oh, wow.
I just knew you'd make this difficult, he says. You ask why he would betray you. I am not your enforcer, dullard. I am the Space Enforcer. Same body, two different people. He moves closer. Now, are you going to do a Raw review, or am I going to have to do some enforcing? Do you perform the show, attempt to interrogate him, or fight him?
Well, take that one off the table. I don't want to. Number one, Enforcer is a big dude. I wouldn't want to force our enforcer. I wouldn't want to fight our enforcer, let alone this all-powerful enforcer. That's terrifying. So take that off the table.
Yes.
I'm not going to try to interrogate him. However, I will try to diplomatically get to the bottom of who really he is and what his goals are. Or we could just do the Raw review and try to get out of there.
No, because I feel like we just do the Raw review. There's going to be another thing, and then another thing, and then another thing. This is like a Kafkaesque nightmare at the bottom of this hole. Yeah, we're never getting out.
Regardless of what we say, that's going to be the case.
Well, are we going to just go out and then be like, with a shrug, or we can go out, fight, Steve?
I would think the shrug. You and I are more shrug people. Come on now.
I only shrug in the face of a zombie apocalypse. Otherwise, let's fight.
You don't shrug in the you collapse in the face of a zombie.
Oh, that's true.
Apocalypse.
I assume the fetal position. That's right. Yes.
This is a great question here. El Blanco Noche. If Vince was on Cameo, what would he make his Cameo cost? You have to buy the Cameo service. Like you have to spend billions on Cameo.
Yeah.
To find out.
Or the cost of a single snow code.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Bottom class with the sub. Thank you very much. Shane's birthday tweet. What is the worst bad booking a la the end of WCW days, or lazy booking a la the build up to Mania this year? So what is worse? Just like bankrupt creative or lazy creative?
What's the example of bankrupt creative at the end of WCW?
Yeah.
That's better.
Because at least they're trying.
And it makes for so much great after the fact content. And at least they're trying. They really were. Like, that was them being desperate, trying their damnedest to do whatever they could.
Mike Goat, you think we'll see any surprises or call-ups on the Raw after Mania? Probably not.
I don't know. I sort of I think it's like a 50-50, to be honest with you. I like to think anyways. Let's see here. Dog Authority figure. I don't know if I can. What are some of the best and worst go home segments leading into Mania? What was the 30 go home segment? Was it Daniel Bryan with everybody in the ring with doing the yes stuff?
No, that was a couple weeks before.
That was before. That was when they said, "Yeah, you're in the match."
Yeah, that's when Triple H gave him said you have to fight me, then you're in. Yeah.
I don't know what the go home for that was. I'm assuming it was some sort of Orton Batista go home.
Was the brawl between Charlotte, Ronda, and Becky then the go home episode?
Oh yeah, that was brilliant.
That was great.
That was absolutely amazing. That was so darn good.
Patrick Oliva, do you guys still get excited for Mania as a fan, or does the work of it take away from it? No, I still get excited. I still have hope that they make it feel important and special. Rocco, both punishment stream related ideas. Steve draws a crap issue of a comic book story by mods, and for me, I have to make a crap song on stream.
I have to do a comic book?
Like the mods have to do a story and you have to draw it, and it's got to be awful.
I'd rather read a book.
I feel like writing a crap song is pretty easy. Like I could probably do
right.
That
you could probably do that really quickly.
Yeah.
All right, one more good question.
All right. Die Hard Homer, I guess I'll pick a different movie because I missed her answer for True Romance. Who does Walter play in Goodfellas?
Oh, for True Romance, I said Val Kilmer's Elvis would be played by Walter. Good. And then what's his new question?
Goodfellas. Walter. Who is played by Walter in Goodfellas?
All right, let's take Liotta out of it because let's
take Liotta, let's take De Niro, let's take Pesci out.
Wow, all those guys. Who said get the papers, get the papers?
Oh,
Tommy,
yeah.
was it Tommy two-time? Johnny two, something like that,
I
right?
think it's Johnny.
Johnny two-time.
That's like his old
oh,
line
dude,
of-
no, it'd be the
Spider?
boss. No,
Oh, Paul Sorvino.
it'd be Paul Sorvino. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Sal, is that his name? I don't know. Paulie. Hey. Paulie. I think it was Paulie.
That sounds right.
Paulie. Hey, Paulie. Come on. What are you talking about? No, I would never do that, Paulie. Come on.
I do Ray Liotta doing that. What's that commercial he was in for the thing to stop smoking?
Shit. It was something X. It's Antrix, something Antrix.
That sounds right.
You know, I gave up smoking like years ago and I couldn't do it. Now I lost it. I lost my Leota. Anyways,
Yeah, you had it for a second.
I had Chantrix. Yeah, I can't do it. Now I'm on the spot. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.